This is Minutia Men with Rick and Dave.
Dave, you know what today is?
Cinco de Mayo.
It is also the 7th anniversary of the very first Minutia Men podcast.
Really?
We debuted on this day
Cinco de Mayo, okay.
in 2016.
Okay, so
three presidents ago.
7 years, okay.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm sure you got me a gift. I looked up the traditional anniversary gifts for 7. All right. For modern people, it's desk sets.
Oh, did you get me like a nice inbox?
I think you can get that for me since we use my desk here.
All right.
And then for traditional 7th anniversary, copper is the traditional present. So here you go.
Oh my God.
Happy anniversary.
Rick, did you know you just gave me a 1916 C that is worth $875,000?
It's time for Minutia Men with Rick and Dave.
The following is a Tony Lasano podcast, an Opie production on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This is Minutia Men with Rick and Dave.
Great prop work.
You like that? Could you hear it? Could you hear it dropping on the...
There you go, in case anybody couldn't hear it. Well, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary to you, too. And thank you to the Radio Misfits and Tony Lasano.
And Vinny, who helped us with our jingles.
I mean, please.
And all the great guests.
All the little people.
That made us who we are today.
Yes.
Sitting at the same desk for 7 years with this squeaky chair that is not comfortable.
That is a new squeaky chair.
Well, it's very nice. Hey, we got a hell of a show and we better get going. Because at our age, you never know when we're just going to take a nap.
That's a good point.
This story comes out of Los Angeles, City of Angels. Woman has loud and full body orgasm during the L.A. Philharmonic concert.
Yes.
The ground really moved for one woman during the second movement of the L.A. Philharmonic's performance of Tchaikovsky's Fifth Symphony.
You know, Tchaikovsky will do that to you.
And she experienced a loud and full body orgasm. Several concert goers described the woman's climactic moment Friday from the balcony at the packed Walt Disney Concert Hall. Oh, I wonder what DeSantis is thinking about this.
Yeah, that's not very woke.
right. She's getting trouble. Yeah. Everyone kind of turned to see what was happening. Molly Grant, who was sitting near the overjoyed woman, told the Los Angeles Times on Sunday. I saw the girl after it happened, and I assume that she had an orgasm because she was heavily breathing and her partner was smiling and looking at her, but in a nice way and not an effort to shame her. Either the partner, I don't know if it's a him. I'm assuming it's a him, which I shouldn't do.
Right.
But like looking lovingly at your partner.
It's a sense of accomplishment. Right. It's like climbing a mountain.
It could actually have been the first time he's ever heard her have an orgasm, so I don't know. And
maybe she can only do it in a Philharmonic concert.
With 4,000 other people there. Since I have never been in the room with a woman having an orgasm, possibly I needed to know what that sounded like, so I hunted for the audio, and I sent it to you.
Yes, I have it right here. Here we go. Did you hear that? One more time. That's nice.
And I imagine people listening to Minutia Men that's a common occurrence when somebody's listening to our show.
Yeah, absolutely. Send us your audio.
So I took the liberty of, what are the best songs to have sex to?
Okay.
So I got a list here of the top 10. Why don't you give me a song that
This is a subjective list that you've put together?
No, it's Spotify, but so it's a subjective list by the people at Spotify. Give me a song that you think maybe the top 10 now.
Top 10. All right. Probably the Schneewalzer. Is that on there?
Und Alben. Yeah.
That's not on there?
Nope, sorry. No polkas are on here, no.
How about Marvin Gaye, Let's Get It On?
No, but that is I can't believe that was not on a top 10, but that was the one that I thought too.
Really?
Yeah. What else?
How about Al Green, Let's Get Together?
No. Well, here, let me tell you what they are.
Yeah.
Night Moves by Bob Seger.
No. No.
You Shook Me All Night Long by AC/DC.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pulling a hamstring to that one now.
Hey, knocking you out with her American thighs.
Yeah. Need You Tonight by Inks. Well, in excess, but of course I called them Inks the first time I was.
So these are rhythmic.
I guess.
Yeah.
In Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel.
Okay, I can see that.
Whole Lot of Love. Again, another muscle pull.
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin.
I can't picture doing it to that.
Start Me Up by the Rolling Stones.
I need a whole lot of love. I'm sorry.
Start Me Up by the Rolling Stones.
No, absolutely not.
Pour Some Sugar on Me by Def Leppard.
Come on, who made this list?
I don't know. Spotify did. And the Is This Love by Whitesnake.
Come on.
So they're
Hairband.
and one more, Love in an Elevator by Aerosmith.
Okay. All right. So, yeah. Okay. Wow.
So,
all right. Well, I have a kind of a similar story, actually. This is a man ordered to stop donating sperm after 550th child.
Oh my God. You think after 462 he'd be like, this is stupid.
Jonathan, a Dutchman, is believed to have fathered more than 550 children through his sperm donations. All right. However, a court has issued an order to halt his donations, and he may be fined over $100,000 if he continues to donate further. This order was issued because of Dutch clinical guidelines that prohibit any donor from fathering more than 25 children in total. So he's kind of eclipsed it by a little bit. The judge presiding over the case suspects that Jonathan deliberately misled people who received his donations by providing false information about his previous donations, which have been going on since 2007.
So 16 years.
Yeah.
550 children.
Right. So now I actually did some math on this.
Yeah, it's like
all right.
40 or 30 a year, right?
Well, yeah, okay, that's one way of looking at the math. My mind went straight to, all right, how many people live in this town?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right.
And by the way, 77,000.
Okay, so
of those, 20% of them have been born in the last 18 years. Okay, so during this man's sperm reign.
Yeah. The Raymond.
Yeah, 15,400 kids have been born in the town of Roosendaal.
Okay.
That means when they start dating, which, would be soon. It'd be soon, right? They have approximately a 4% chance of accidentally dating their siblings.
Wow.
4% is pretty high.
Right, and that's like just half as much as Alabama.
Exactly. This is such a weird story. This is the police. Get your hands off that thing. Raise them in the air. Dear God, man, control yourself. Horst, collect that plastic cup and discard it before he collects seed again.
Can you imagine living in this town as Horst? What's his name? Did he say his name?
Jonathan.
Okay. Can you imagine walking around and knowing that
how you do it?
Yeah, well, and then plus having all your kids running. God, that would be horrible.
It would be. Yeah. So anyway, we have a bunch of more things that.
What was that story that we did? That was it in North Carolina or whatever, where the teacher wants people to be referred to as people who produce sperm.
Oh yeah.
He's the person who produces sperm.
He's the king of that.
I got a review here from Shelley-O 1969.
Okay.
A good show that's a perfect length for a commute. Now, obviously, Shelley-O does not live in Chicago.
No,
because this is
especially
like
with the construction.
1/7 of a commute. And Shelley-O posted this on Apple Podcasts. So thank you. And if you are inclined to do so as well, please leave us a review.
Yeah, it's a kind of confusing thing. So when you do it, it tells you, it asks you how many stars. You're supposed to press 5.
Yeah. It's right.
That's just the way it works better on the gadget. If you press 5,
and you're entered into a
you could
you're entered into a contest for the 551st first sperm donation. From
is that right?
Yeah,
right. It may be hard for us to track that down, but if you like Minutia Man, be sure to check out some of the other programs on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. You can pick out your favorite news show at opishows.com. And remember that OPI is hippo backwards, OPPIH shows.com. And don't forget the shows, because if you just go to opi.com, there's nothing there. because that's what I did this morning accidentally. All right, time for something else.
Time now for Studio Walls.
And the words of the prophets were written on the studio walls. Rick and Dave.
So this is the part of the show where we go into the Rick and Dave archives and play you a little clip of something that we've done previously in our 40 years together. This one goes back, actually, 45 years ago this week, the San Diego Chicken. Remember the San Diego Chicken? He was fired by KGB Radio, which created the San Diego Chicken. That led him out of his main gig, but it also launched him as a nationwide mascot.
Clown. Prankster.
I mean, he was everywhere. He made a fortune as the San Diego Chicken. And his real name is Ted, Ted Giannoulis, and we got a chance to talk to him. And we asked him about any times it might have gone bad, and he told us maybe our favorite
story. In 7 years, this could be the favorite story we've ever heard.
It's certainly top 5, I'd say. This is his story about Elvis.
But the question is, did you ever get into a situation where you crossed the line at an event that it just went a little bit too far?
Yes, yeah, and it was for all the right reasons. The most famous one, I suppose, was the night I made Elvis laugh during concert on stage so hard that it stopped the show.
Really?
And, yes. Oh, absolutely. It was about 1976, about 16 months before he passed away. And he was at the sports arena. And again, one of the things I did representing the radio station, I would go to every public event conceivable, including concerts. I was a fixture, everybody's concerts. And so Elvis was appearing on this night. And as was my role, I would, work among the crowds. But on this particular night, as I came into the sports arena, I know security was giving me the red eye, giving me their game face, like, not Elvis, don't you dare go goofing around.
He's the king, man.
Yes, absolutely. And, I was biding my time and, just greeting fans around on the concourse, especially as the concert got started. I was up on the concourse level seats, and then Elvis broke into a tribute for Jerry Lee Lewis and started singing Whole Lot of Shakin' Going On. And I said to myself, that's my song.
Exactly. You're the chicken. You cannot not dance to the shaking going on.
All I can say is that thank God it wasn't Great Balls of Fire.
That's right.
Because God only knows.
Chicken in the barn. What barn? My barn. So as he's breaking into this number, in the darkness there of the sports arena, I run down the aisle of the seats onto the floor, and then beeline it all the way up to the stage. And there, as Elvis is singing, I'm dancing right under him, going back and forth in the front row of the aisle there. And Elvis catches this, and he starts laughing. And I mean laughing hard, fellas. And it gets to the point where he loses his lyrics, loses control of his lyrics, and also drops to one knee laughing so hard. And as he's glancing over, he's got tears in his eyes. The Klieg lights were clearly showing this. And it gets to the point where the band is still playing back behind him, but from their angle, they couldn't see that, I was goofing off in the front row beneath the stage. And Elvis's doctor runs on stage.
You killed Elvis. You killed Elvis.
The famous Dr. Nick. Mm-hmm. And he comes on with his black bag, and he runs onto the stage. He attempts to get Elvis to lay down as he's on one knee, laughing so hard, cannot continue with the song. And Elvis shakes him off, and he just points to me loosely. And this is as the doctor has already pulled out his stethoscope. And then he sees me, and he mouths an epithet, and puts his stethoscope away back into the bag and hustles off the stage. Elvis collects himself, turns to the band, signals to them to keep playing louder now, and he finishes the song. And I'm still dancing up and down the aisle. The number finishes, and then Elvis turns and apologizes to the crowd for flubbing the lyrics. And he says, I don't know if you all can see, but you got to believe me. There's a chicken dancing up here in front.
Oh, there's a chicken. There's a chicken there.
Right. And the audience acknowledges, sure, because they're quite familiar with me. And then he says, Elvis comes up with a great line. He says, well, I want to warn this chicken something. I don't know who put him up to this, but my manager's name is the Colonel.
Oh, very nice. Elvis still had game back then. And then didn't he continue with the story how he got thrown up and roughed up a little bit by the Elvis Mafia or whatever, the Memphis Mafia.
Yeah. The break came right in the middle of that. But yeah, that's a great story. You got to admit, that's a great story.
And that the entire interview is on our Minutia Men Celebrity
It is Minutia Men Celebrity Interview. It is episode number 8.
Oh, my God. We were just pups back then.
So, yeah, check it out.
Hey, I got another story. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Can you... drug dealing is a job, so can you fire up the Jenkins jingle?
I can, absolutely. It's right here.
When you're on the job and you're not doing it right. Jenkins! Time now for Dave to share stories of employee screw-ups. Jenkins! It could only be Jenkins! Jenkins with Rick and Dave. Jenkins!
Man arrested after $3 million worth of drugs shipped to a restaurant.
Whoops.
Employees of a Maine restaurant got a surprise when they opened a large wooden crate that they thought was a shipment of mugs that they had recently ordered. Hey, Bill, the mugs are here. Well, instead, they found a plastic tote that contained what law enforcement is suspecting is 14 kilograms. You're from Europe. That's about 31 pounds.
Right.
Of the powerful synthetic opioid fentanyl.
14 kilograms of fentanyl?
Fentanyl, with an estimated street value of $3 million.
Wow.
The tote had a shipping label with the restaurant's address in care of somebody that did not work there. Okay. So Oops. Remember the name Jeremy Mercier.
Okay.
So it was Jeremy Mercier in care of, they don't name the restaurant here, blah, 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 Willoughby Lane or whatever. So they open it up. They go, okay, these are drugs. Probably should talk to the cops about this. And they call the cops. They find, so then this guy comes, Jeremy comes about an hour later, very polite, as one of the employees at the restaurant described the man as very polite and respectful, and asked if a package had arrived for him. In fact, he even ordered a slice of pizza when he asked. So he goes in there, counter, and he goes, hey, how you doing? My name is Jeremy Mercier. Did I get a package here by any way? Hey, is that... I'll have a slice of pepperoni. Would that be great? Thank you.
Yeah. Can I have some fentanyl on it?
Yeah, right. And, well, needless to say, Jeremy does not understand shipping and receiving like I do.
Oh my God.
Jeremy, if you would have just used a blank bill of lading, this would not have been a problem. So
wow.
So Jeremy is right now
a moron.
So Jeremy is 41, is now in jail and charged with drug offenses and also for violating his bail conditions. All because he didn't understand the shipping business.
Or go to the restaurant first and say, hey, listen, I'm going to be getting a package.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Look for the package with my name on it. Just set it to the side. Everything will be fine.
Well, and nobody knows why he picked that restaurant.
Right.
They said that they had never seen him before. Oh my God. You just got a package I brought in from...
I did. Those are my cigars. All right. Well, I've got a story for you. This is... about Uber's Lost and Found. So, maybe some of Jeremy's packages are included in here. Is an annual list of the service's most commonly forgotten and most unique lost items. They revealed, that the most common left behind items are things that you'd expect. Clothing,
like a phone charger,
phones, bags,
virginity,
wallets, headphones, jewelry, keys, books, laptops, watches, that sort of thing. But there were also some pretty unusual ones. I'd like to go over them with you if you don't mind. A fog machine. Someone left their fog machine in there. Here's my favorite. An ankle monitor.
Oh, you mean like for someone who's...
Yeah, for someone who's on the lam.
Jeremy,
like
for instance.
Jeremy. A unicycle.
For the San Diego chicken might have had the unicycle.
16 ounces of fake blood.
Okay. We had on Svengoolie.
Could have been Svengoolie. a Danny DeVito Christmas ornament.
Where the hell is my...
A false tooth, a lightsaber, a mannequin wig head, a slab of bluefin tuna for sushi, a single Gucci loafer, just one.
Just one, okay.
And a pin depicting Jesus holding a slice of pizza.
Wait, what is the last one?
A pin, like a brooch, depicting Jesus holding a slice of pizza.
You know what I always wanted to do? I always wanted to open up a pizza restaurant in Israel and call it Jesus of Nazareth.
Oh, boy.
Wouldn't that have been great?
Oh, boy. Anyway.
Jesus died for our sin.
Yeah.
I got a whole list of them here.
No.
Guess what Jesus' favorite pizza is?
Oh, no. What?
Pepperoni. Pepperoni, I should say.
Pepperoni.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You know why Jesus crust is so good?
Why?
It takes 3 days to rise. Here's a little FYI. Don't send me your stories beforehand, okay?
I thought you were going to focus on the next paragraph, which is the index revealed multiple passengers managed to forget their pets, including hamsters, a pair of turtles, and a toy poodle.
A poodle like Wes?
Yeah, like Wes.
So you know Wes's birthday was yesterday.
Oh, it wasn't?
It was. It was Wes's birthday was yesterday. And did you used to give presents to Ivy for birthday?
Never.
Okay, well, I do.
Yeah.
So
you would never leave Wes in a
oh God,
Uber.
no. Go
Yeah.
Kids, yes. Wife, perhaps. You, no doubt, but not Wes. So I'm at the PetSmart looking for the perfect birthday present for Wes.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm agonizing over this. I'm like, okay, he's got balls like this. He's got a squeaky toy like this. I'm like, okay, let's bone. And I'm reading the safety precautions and everything. And it occurred to me, when I'm buying stuff from my kids or my wife, I'm in and out of that store in like 5 minutes. Or not, I don't get them at PetSmart.
Right.
But I'm in and out of a store in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Wes, I agonized to get the perfect gift for him, and I'm reading the safety instructions for my kids. I would have given them.
What is Wes's birthstone? Do you know?
I don't, but I'm going to.
You'll have to find out.
And I couldn't even wait. I got this 2 days ago. I couldn't wait to give it to him, so I even gave it to him the day before.
That's how I felt when I got the engagement ring with Bridget. Okay, it's time for another feature.
A random name pulled out of Rick's bowl of brushes with celebrities. Mixture, collection, selection, assemblage, medley, assortment, variety. Time now for Celebrity Potpourri with Rick and Dave.
So this is the part of the show where we dip into our email bag, and people have been sending us these great celebrity stories, and this week is no exception. This one is from Gloria. Okay, now it's a little bit
How
longer.
does she spell her name?
I believe it's GLORII. So anyway.
Is that a song to have sex to?
I don't think so.
No, I mean,
Unless what if her name is Victoria
Yeah.
or
Samantha? I just
wouldn't worry. Love your show, guys. It's like listening to my husband and his friends without having to hear my husband or his friends. I think that's a pretty funny.
Ouch!
I think that's a pretty funny line.
It's like listening to my husband if we were divorced and happily divorced and him living.
I mean, I like him, but I've heard the same things for years and years.
Gloria, listen to our podcast for the 7 years, and you're going to start hearing the same stories over and over again.
I have a celebrity story you might like, she writes. It goes back about 20 years. To understand this story, you have to know this about me. I'm less than 5 feet tall.
Like my wife and your wife.
Like your wife. My wife is easily 5'1".
Okay.
Anyway, I was shopping in an upscale Chicago clothing store on Oak Street. It's not easy finding clothes for my size, and this store supposedly had a nice selection. I grabbed a few items and went to the dressing room, leaving my husband in the store holding my purse. Been there.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah.
You ever?
I think I'm not on his side.
Yeah, the purse thing.
Yeah, I know.
I was so excited that I found something that fit. That I dashed around the corner of the dressing room to do a ta-da for my husband. Yeah. But there was someone else there holding a purse, waiting for his woman. I ran right into him because he was very tall and I am very short. I nailed him right in the balls. That would have been bad enough, right? He dropped to his knees and was in pain. Now we were eye to eye. I'm not a big basketball fan, but even I knew. But even I knew I had just racked Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh, God. That's great.
I love that one. All right. Well, thank you, Gloria. That could be our favorite one ever.
Right. And that song, not good to have sex with, obviously.
Apparently not. So anyway, we do. You're visualizing it, are you?
Yes. And he's a really nice man, too.
And he goes, when he's on his knees, he's the same height as her.
She was taunting how short he was.
Oh, well, we have a new Minutia Man celebrity interview that'll be out next week.
Yeah.
We'll tell you more about that after it comes out. But in the meantime, we have some people to thank. We have to thank our executive producer, Tony Lasano, with opishows.com. Opie is hippo backwards.
Who's like 5'10".
Yeah, I think he's about 5'10". OPPIH shows, don't forget the shows.com. Distributed by Ed Silla with Radio Misfits.
Well, 5'10".
Yeah, he might be 6 feet. He's a little taller, I think. Great Talk Radio isn't dead. It just moved to a better place. RadioMisfits.com. And 5'10 Dave and 5'10 Rick will be here again next week with a brand new episode of
Minutia Man.
The preceding was a presentation of Opie Productions. Find our other great shows wherever you find podcasts, including opishows.com. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Opie Productions.
Tony, can you shut up?